Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody had a great day. How about ELAB and XTIA early this morning? I mean, they ran up fast, so I hope everybody was able to trade them. We'll go over them. I still think they might have something in them tomorrow, so we'll go over that. And let's just rock and roll. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. And we had all kinds of things running up, and HAAO is running. We'll look at them all. You know that. So let me know what you guys want to look at, and we'll go through everything and see what's happening. And we'll start off with that ELAB as a matter of fact, because it did run up over 100%. And I'll discuss the pre-market as well because a few people were asking me about that. So I will go over some pre-market and how that exactly works, and hopefully can answer some people's questions there. But let's get rocking and rolling with ELAB. I mean, it jumped up there this morning, went crazy. Let me look on mine to see exactly what the prices were because it went to like from 2 to 5 cents this morning. Then it pulled back. It opened at 4, went up to 5, and it came back down to 2, and that's where it's sitting right now. It's at about 2 cents. I believe it's still higher than what it was yesterday when it closed. I'm pretty sure, yes, because it closed. Well, maybe not. Maybe it closed yesterday at 2.5, and today it's at maybe it's a little tiny bit higher. So I still think it might have something left in it tomorrow morning. I just don't think the market conditions were that great today. It just things were jumping around. And like I said, it jumped up there fast and came down pretty quick. It never got out of the basement and it still doesn't look terrible. So obviously, we're going to be looking at it. And I know something's going to be going on at 4 a.m. because it had 1.8 billion in volume. I mean, that's completely insane, off the charts. So we shall see what it wants to do. But like I said, I think it may have something left in it, and we will see early in the morning tomorrow. So let's take a look at that XTIA as well, because that ran up this morning, not as far, didn't get to 100%, but it did run up. Let's see, what was it at? It ran from what? Opened at 7, got up to 9, and its low was 5, and it's sitting at 6 right now. So it is a little lower. Oh, wait, I was gonna say, is this? Yeah, this is it. And so it is a little bit lower, but another one just kind of ran up in a little bit of healthy pullback. Doesn't look terrible. It did break through to 22 today when it ran up there. So we'll see if it actually can get moving. And hold on, because this doesn't even look right. Yeah, it's 7 to 9. Yeah, that's right. So opened at 7, went to 9, came back to 5, and it's at 6 right now. And that's XTIA. And again, I still think this might have something in it. So we'll see in the morning. We'll definitely go over them. And I know they like had some third quarter update and then had to like make a correction because they couldn't even write it out right. So that was a little odd. But we'll see what it wants to do. And again, I still think that and ELAB could run up. Let's look at TANH because this one pulled back a little bit today too, but it's sitting right in the right spot, guys. So keep an eye on this. And again, I just don't think the market conditions were great today for any of these. So they just did not get moving the way they should. And that's fine. I mean, they can't run every single day. You get good opportunities and buying opportunities. But TANH curled up, just went flat right over the MACD and is just pulling back a hair. So not looking terrible there either. So we'll take a look at it. That TRNR, I didn't realize they had earnings. It didn't even say it on here. And then I looked on Stock Twits and realized it this morning. And I said, oh, well, that's probably not going to do so well. And it did drop like 234 today. So it did pull back there. It wasn't a good spot after the split, and it never really ran up. So I would look for a little dip and rip because it never crossed through. It's just kind of hitting that line. Let me look at it on mine. I know I was looking at it earlier, and it never really got over that line. Still never did. So I could see it trying to pop up tomorrow, TRNR. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. And it did dip on the earnings. It just doesn't tell you that it had earnings on here on FinViz. It usually does tell you. So I'm not sure if they were earnings that they had to push back a date from another time and it didn't come up on here. But I did see it this morning on the stock twits. And after I did the show, I was just kind of scrolling through them and said, "Oh, we went over that one," and I didn't even know they had earnings. But that's interactive strength, so we'll look at that tomorrow as well. VVPR, this one we had looked at not too long ago. Vivo Power International, and this started to move today. It ran up at least 57 cents. VVPR, it was moving 79 to 150. It's sitting at 110 right now. So look for this in the morning to keep continuing up. Has some resistance at that 150 area. So just look for that bad boy. It did get up to that area. And I think it can kind of push through. It did in the after hours, it looks like. So keep an eye on VVPR because that could have some power in the morning and keep cruising. So that one looks pretty decent tomorrow. Let me just jot that down so I can make some notes. SYTA, this one is also another one that Sciata Mobile. We've looked at this many times. I didn't even know they had earnings on the 14th, which is today. So they did have their earnings today, and it curled up and looks really good, guys. So I would look at this tomorrow. I think it was moving a little bit in the after hours. Let me look. SYTA. It was 125 to 180 and it's at 179. So it definitely moved just in the after hours right there. I can see that. And let me see. Cool. And boom. Yup. Laptop travel is taking off. I will post the edited watch list so you can check it out and you have a good evening. Safe travels if you're hopping on a flight. Laptop travel. He's not kidding when he says laptop travel. Guy travels a lot. I mean, he flies all over the world. So yeah, we'll definitely I'll post that up for you so you can check it out. And you have a good evening. And yeah, that SYTA, like I said, it did jump up in the after hours there. Keep an eye on that for some more momentum. It looked good today, and it did have the earnings, and it obviously ran up. I obviously didn't know what it was going to do with its earnings, but it curled up and it looked good, and now it's moving. So keep an eye on that. We looked at PEGY, that Pineapple Energy last night because Elon was talking about solar being important. And this one's just curling right up, guys. Take a look at PEGY. This one started to run already today. So that Peggy Energy or Pineapple Peggy, that's what I call it, Pineapple Energy, and it went from 325 to 371. It's at 352 right now, and it looks pretty solid for tomorrow. So I'd keep an eye on that one to try to move up tomorrow. PEGY, we've traded that one before, and that HAO is starting to move right here. And that's one we've been keeping an eye on and started to curl up. And it ran from what 19 to at least 22. I know that. 19 to 23. And it looks like it wants to move tomorrow, guys. So keep an eye on that HAO. And that was one that we've been looking at here. And we knew the bottom was right down here around 17 cents. And again, it's at 21.20 in the after hour, somewhere in between there. And it's looking good. That BTCT just doesn't want to go away. That BTC Digital just keeps getting crazy up here. It's way in the top. It ran up some more today, up to 25. Not as high as yesterday, but it did run up there. And I would expect it to start coming down fairly soon, or at least trying to build a base. But it's got to come out of that base, out of that top. I always do that. It's got to come out of that top because it just shot way up there. And obviously, we were way early on that bad boy. So you could have traded it the last few days. It's been jumping around quite a bit there. BTCT and VCIG. This is one that we had looked at before. It recently split on November 5th and it just never got running yet. And I think that bottom was yesterday at around 138. We were looking at it. It's at 168 right now, and it's curling up really nice right there. So take a look at that VCIG because that looks really good to try to run in the morning as well. So keep an eye on that tomorrow. And that GDHG, that was that one that's a China company. I forget the name of it, Golden Heaven Group. And that's one that we would look at before and just say, keep an eye on it. And if these things start to run, it's going to run. And it looks like it's about to curl off and start running. So we already know what the China companies can do. This is kind of the one I gave an example with, and it's about to get moving. So keep an eye on GDHG because that looks really good as well. And OCGN. I know we were looking at that for a little while. It's up to dollar. It's been bouncing around right here, but I'm telling you, it's setting up, it's curling up, and it's going to get moving, guys. And I added it to that list because it had looked good and it looks really good now. So keep your eye on that OCGN because that's going to get cruising as well. And it has some room. It has like $1.20. It can go from $1 to $1.20 with no problem right there and get up into the top. And I mean it has resistance all the way up there in like the $1.80 range. And this thing used to be, I mean, this thing was in the $18 range before. Yeah. I remember when it ran up, I don't know what year it was, but ran up to almost like $18, if not higher. It was pretty wild, maybe even higher than that. So OCGN is setting up right there and looking good at $1 right now. So we were looking at it below $1. We were looking at down here around like 91 cents. So there you go with OCGN and SVMH. That one ran up a little bit today and doesn't look too bad either. It's sitting in the right spot, and it just is again market conditions. I could have saw this popping off. It opened at 3, went up to 4, came down to 2, and that's where it closed. I could see this popping off tomorrow, just like Elab, XTIA, and this one. They were all set up for today to get really popping. Obviously, Elab ran over 100%, but it was really quick. I mean, it was pre-market for sure. And then yeah, it never really none of them really could catch steam, but they just had soup like a crazy amount of volume. This one had what 248 million. Elab I said had 1.8 billion, and XTIA I didn't even look at it. It had 364 million. So pretty wild amounts of volume. Yeah, 1.8 billion on Elab today. That's a lot of volume, guys. That's pretty impressive. Not gonna lie. So obviously it's a penny stock. It's down there so people can buy it and trade it pretty quick, but still that's a lot of volume. So let's see if it gets a billion tomorrow and the market conditions are good, it will run. And again, it doesn't even look terrible at the moment. It just didn't do what it was supposed to today. It ran up, but it could have ran up some more, and it still placed itself in a pretty decent spot there. So that is the ELAB, XTIA, SVMH. We'll look at them in the morning for sure, and I'll let you know how they look. And the yin and the yang. That yin came down some more, 89 cents today. It went up 12 in the after hours, but I don't know if that really means too much right there with that one. Let me just look at it on mine. It looks like it's still, I mean, it is hitting a base down there at like 26, but I still don't think that it's going to do anything. I mean, let me look at this yang. Doesn't look, I was going to say, it doesn't look like it wants to reverse just yet. And the yang looks like it wants to just keep on cruising up. So, I think the Yang does want to get up to this 90 area. It's at 81, and I could see it getting up there, guys. So keep an eye on it, and we'll see what happens. Maybe it doesn't do it tomorrow, but obviously next week it may kind of get up there and get towards that $90 area. Maybe it gets over it, but we'll see what happens here. And it's at 81 right now. And I mean, we kind of saw it on this line right here in the 70s and knew it was bouncing up. We've been following the yin and the yang. So there you go with the yin and the yang. And ATAI, let's see that one. ATAI Life Sciences up 2 cents, up 12 in the after hours, it says. And it was up in the top, and it looks like it's just trying to curl back up here. ATAI. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty decent. It ran up the other day on the 11th right there, 147 to 175, and then today 139 to 154, and it's sitting at 149. So it's not looking bad at all, this ATAI. I could see it curling back up and trying to run. It did have its earnings yesterday. So again, what a crazy look today. I mean, today was a little odd for all of them, but it does look like a dip and rip situation right there at it came down to 125 and it's back to 149. So it does look pretty decent right there. I could see that one curling back up right there. And that's ATAI, that's TWG. Let's keep an eye on this guy, that top wealth. It was down 3 cents as they make these big fish hooks. Again, they curl down big time. Well, they run down usually lower than the day before. We know that, but you can trade it. As today, it opened at 29. Today probably wasn't a good one, and its low is 25, and it's sitting at 26, right around 27. But yesterday, it had that really nice dip down to 17, and I think that's going to be its low. It's going to start curling up probably next week, and yeah, TWG is going to be that one of them ones that gets popping there. So we're going to definitely keep an eye on this. And again, it's at 25. It's probably going to pull back. I could see it getting down to like 23 area. I could see it pulling back a little more tomorrow as it curls up. We already know it likes to do that regardless. It'll probably keep that pattern for a little while, and that's perfectly fine because we know what we're looking at. So I think that's what we're going to see there, and I'll look at it tomorrow, TWG, but that is going to be a great setup. BURU, this one is down just less than 1% and then popped right back up. And I thought it ran around today. Let me see. I thought it was up this morning. It was 43 to 56, came down to 38, and it's at 40. So it's lower than it opened. And again, this one doesn't look bad either. It did touch that 20 and it was just, oh, it looks pretty good actually. BURU, it kind of wanted to run today, and I guess these market conditions just weren't there for any of them. So I would keep an eye on that one. Um, to run tomorrow, BURU, it's set up right there. I mean, if it doesn't, it'll be set up for next week. So we'll keep an eye on that one too, BURU, and that LGVN. Let's see. Let's see what this is up to. They recently had their earnings, and a lot of them did. They did on Tuesday. So let's see. This one's just pulling back. It just crossed down. It looked good to try to get cruising there on the 12th, and I guess it topped out and started to pull back a little bit. LGVN. And let me just take a look. Yeah, it is pulling back. It doesn't say it wants to curl up just yet. So we'll keep an eye on it, but it is has a little pullback. ASRT, I was looking at this one yesterday, and we did look at it yesterday, and it is just pulling back. And I'm telling you, this thing is just kind of making a base and setting up down there. I think ASRT will try to run. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And that'll probably be a next weeker ASRT. And I think a lot of the drug manufacturers got smacked today with that RFK news. The healthcare sector was pretty red. I saw that. Here it is. Lilly was down like it's down 3.15%, and a bunch of other ones like United Health was down, and Johnson & Johnson and ABBV and Pfizer and all these bad boys and Merck and all of them. Basically, the only one up was CVS, and that was like up 1.5%. So not many of the healthcare companies liked RFK being the choice today, but it's all good. Maybe we'll have some healthy food finally and cut out half of all that corn syrup and nonsense they put in all of our food because it's out of control. So I'm kind of excited about it, to be honest with you. ASRT, though, like I said, I think that might get a bottom bounce. I'm not so sure it's going to do it tomorrow, but it's in the cards for it coming up. So we'll keep an eye on that for next week as well. And let's look at HOLO, HOLO. It was up. Actually, it was trying to move today, and it looks like it is trying to roll off there. So this is going to be a pretty decent one, I think, coming up for possibly tomorrow and next week. So keep an eye on that HOLO, and we'll run it up, like I said, one more time, give it a shot, and then yeah, we'll part our ways. But watch that one tomorrow. I'll keep an eye on it because it is setting up right there, HOLO. So we'll watch that one, and it is curling up. It looks pretty decent, I would say. TNXP. Oh, what did I do? I didn't type it in right. That's what I did. TNXP now. This was down just a hair, and again, it was more flat than anything, and it looks like it wants to roll off tomorrow and get cruising, and I'm pretty sure this was a STX Confidential one, if I remember correctly, was looking at this. And again, it just pulled back. I mean, most of them did, and it still looks pretty solid there. So I would give it a look at tomorrow, TNXP, because it looks pretty good to me right there. It doesn't look terrible. Let's put it that way. And that's what if they were set up trying to run today, that's what the look they kind of have is they just like kind of ran up. Although Elab did get over that 100%, not many of them did run up, but that one did real quick. And then they have that look where they tried to pull back, but they still look healthy. So that's what these healthy ones look like, and that's pretty good. Let's go into tomorrow. And if it's a decent day, it'll try to pop off. And that's all we need going into the weekend. You get rid of them, and then you have your money for next week for all the new poppers. So that's what you're looking at there. And EDBL, Edible Garden, let's look at that. They did have their earnings as well yesterday, and it just came back down a little bit into the basement. But this one's going to set up, I would say, probably for next week. Let me see it on mine. Yeah, not looking bad there. I think I mean, it doesn't necessarily look like it wants to pop tomorrow. It looks like it wants to more make a base and then try to get cruising, but it could. I mean, it's in a spot where it could just curl up and cruise. So keep an eye on it. If it's trying to move, you know what happened. It's curled right out of the basement and got running. So if it's not really running, it's just making that base down there, and it's pretty safe for next week to look at and try to nail that bad boy. So we'll look at Edible Garden, HOVR. Let's see. This one, I'm telling you, is just sitting right there. This one looks great. I mean, almost starting to look like a shell company up here. It's an aerospace and defense, and it's at the top line making a base like it wants to shoot off. So keep an eye on this thing. I don't know what the heck they have going on HOVR, but it looks pretty wild. I don't know. I mean, I'll have to look at it tomorrow before anyone tries to jump in it. But it just looks very, very odd right there. And I'm not saying it can't pull back because it's just running that line and not getting into the top. It's literally running the line. You don't see it happen very often. And the 20's coming up and there's some support underneath of it, but I'd have to look at it. And if it's starting to move HOVR, it's going to be a popper. So it is at the 52-cent area right now. What's it say on here? Yeah, 51 cents. And if it is moving, it's going to be running up into that top. And if it's dipping, it's coming down out of the top because it's literally running on the line. Like I said, you just don't see that very often. And that is a Canadian aerospace and defense company. So I just want to take a look at that one tomorrow because that's an interesting look. Like I said, you just don't see very often. FAMI, though, this one is just pulling back, but it's going to get set up for next week. And it looked like yesterday it tried to be its bottom, and then it just kind of pulled back a little bit more. And I do think it's going to get set up here, FAMI. So we'll look at this one, FAMI, and this is another China company, and it could get cruising up there. It looks like it wants to curl up and run. It got up to the top real quick on October 23rd to 53 cents, and it's at 27 right now. So we'll see if it can do something there. FAMI and RGF, that real good food company, did pull. I mean, this one, it should be popping off. I would look for this to try to bounce. It's making a really nice base down here at that bottom at 26-cent area. It keeps being it's low and it doesn't really want to break that area right there. And it is set up really nice. So I could definitely see this one trying to bounce. RGF, I would look for it. Look for that bounce right there on RGF. So let me just mark that one right here because I'm gonna watch for that RGF bounce and see if it wants to do it. And I've been watching some of these just to see what the setups are doing. And again, as these charts start to transform and get back to normal, you got to kind of catch what happens and what they want to run like. So I have my eyes on a bunch of these, as I always do, just because I like to, but just looking at certain things as well to make sure that it's doing what it should want to do, and that's a good look. So that's why I just look at certain things as well and just, pick. different things out and patterns and stuff because you just want to see things do certain things. And again, that's how sometimes I can just see things happening in the economy in the world because the charts, certain charts should do certain things. And like I always say, the last 3.5 years, they just didn't run even remotely close like they should. So it was just bizarre. QLGN down 6 cents, and yesterday still looked like it's bottomed down there at 371, and today it only got down to 382, and it is curling up really good. It just wasn't a good day for any of them. I'm not gonna lie. So QLGN, I would take a look at that because that's curling up real good right there. That could be a runner. TOVX, I know it ran the other day and they did just have their earnings um on Tuesday. So I don't know if we looked at it last night, but it did pull back today and it's hitting that line right now. And I could see it trying to bounce off of there. Let's see if it tries to roll off of there. Let me just mark that a roll off there and just see if it wants to roll off or if it's going to come down. If it wants to roll off, it's basically going to come right off of that bottom line too. And I could see that happening on TOVX. And if it does it, then you're going to have a runner for next week. If it rolls off, it's not necessarily going to do it tomorrow. It's just going to get that set up tomorrow and we'll know. So GMM Global MoFi AI down 4 cents, and another one. That one, I know we looked at it because I know the setup right here, and it was set up perfectly, basically on November 11th. The 12th wasn't bad. And yesterday it pulled back. Today it pulled back, and it's hitting that bottom, and another one hitting that line. And I could see this one just totally bouncing right off and curling off. So that's two roll offs right there on the road that I'm going to look at. So TOVX and GMM, if they roll off, and especially GMM, that one looks really good the way it's set up. If that one tries to bounce off that bottom and roll off that MACD, that's going to be a popper next week. So we'll keep an eye on that GMM and see if it does want to do that because, like I said, that'll be a popper next week. CERO just, I mean, it ran up so high the other day on the 12th and it is coming back. It's back to what, 18, 16 cent area, and it did. It just ran up and it came down. It did what it was supposed to do, and I don't know if it's going to just bounce back up right here. I think it might have some more pullback. Maybe it tries to make a base right around here. We'll have to see, but it did run up like it was supposed to, popped off there, and coming back down as they usually do, these penny ones. And ENSC, this was down 7 cents and actually was trying to curl up the other day. It looked like it was trying to, it did yesterday. It hit up on that resistance right there. It looked like it was going to try to get over it, but obviously today wasn't a healthy day for any of them. So I could see ENSC getting moving again as the 20. And yeah, the way it's coming down on that MACD line, I could see it crossing. It never got through yet. And I could see it doing it. We'll have to keep an eye. The 20's coming up to meet like the 200 up there, which doesn't really matter, but the 50 don't look too bad. It doesn't look that bad there, ENSC. So I'll keep an eye on it and see if it wants to bounce and we'll look at it. So and Ray Rodriguez wants that one to move ENSC, so we're definitely going to keep an eye on it for him. And like I said, I'm going to watch it to see when it gets to this line right here, that MACD line, and just see. And it's probably right around, nah, it's probably not that low, probably around that 59 cent area, but it may pull back tomorrow and see if it can get that easy roll off and then it'll pop back up. So we'll keep an eye on it for you and we'll make sure we know what's going on. NXU, let's see that one. NXU down 2 cents and that one is pulling back. It was trying to make a base, and maybe it's trying to and make room on the chart, and we'll make sure we take a look at it in next week because if it's trying to make some room on the chart, it's making plenty of room to bounce pretty like pretty nice, and it was up there on October 25th over like 64 cents, and now it's at 34. So it did pull back, and it is pulling back now, but it doesn't seem to be pulling back real hard. The low looks like it might have been 27 and a half. So we'll keep an eye on it. And if it stays above this 50 right here at 32 cents, 32 and a half, it'll be pretty solid for a nice bounce play right there. So that's NXU. LGVN, let's see. Oh, didn't we already do this one? I'm pretty sure I almost know we did because, yeah, I know we did. I already wrote it down. So I'll just skip that one real quick because I did it. APLM, let's look at that one. Apollo Mix. Apollo Mike's, I think it is. But this one tried to crawl through just the other day. What day was that? November 12th. So that was Tuesday. And then it took a nice dip yesterday and pulled back today. And now that thing's going to get set up. It did run on the 7th and it ran pretty nice on that day. Let me just see APLM here. Yeah, just a little pullback there. We'll have to find that bottom right there. Maybe it pulls back tomorrow and hits the bottom, and then, they get set up for next week. And remember what I was saying, this week could be that little pullback week, and I was saying it last week at the end of the week. And they're obviously just jumping around, but they're just getting set up, especially even the big caps and stuff. So, you're kind of seeing that. And then you're going to come into the holiday season where, you have days off and things get a little strange, but they are set up to run. So we'll be obviously watching them every day, but they are getting set up. I would think next week they're going to be popping off and getting pretty wild. So APLM, just a little pullback. We'll see if it hits that bottom right there, and then we'll ride that up if it wants to go. IOVA, another one that just pulled back big time. It was setting up right there on the 8th and the 11th, even this week. And it just did not want to go anywhere and just went down. So great price action down here because this one's probably going to bounce. I could imagine IOVA is going to want to bounce back up. So keep your eye on that for a bounce play. And that is a good price down there, it looks like. So just watch for any more dips as it's been pulling back, and it'll actually be a good little run up there. So that patience pays off, and that's why we always do it. And IOVA could be one of them ones where you were just looking at it and it dipped down and you just waited and saw exactly where the bottom was, and boom, there you go. Just like that DXYZ. Remember, I said we don't want to be chasing it up there. Well, it pulled back like $4 out of the top today, and it's pulling back. So, again, we'll catch it on that setup. That's when you want to do it. You don't want to be getting them up at the top and then get stuck when they're coming down $4 like that on you, even on a big cap. So, that's why we were playing that safe. And I say, if they're momentum plays and they're going up, you can kind of play them safe that day. You kind of know that they're moving up, at least for that quick couple minutes. They're going to be moving. You get in and out of a trade, but when they're up at that top, they're going to come right back down and set back up the run. And you don't want to be getting them when they're up there. You want to be getting them when they're getting set up to run. So that's what we're going to do for DXYZ. So it is coming down there. Nature's Miracle Holding, NMHI. This was down 3 cents, ran up the other day and yesterday. It ran up pretty good. And again, it's just another one. It probably could have kept running up today, and it just wasn't in the cards, but it looks good for tomorrow. So NMHI, just another one you can add right to that list. It's just a little flat today, little pullback. But all it has to do is get right over that 15-cent area, and it was touching it today, and it could move. So I would say NMHI, you can add that with like the ELAB, the XTIA, and the SVMH because yeah, that one looks pretty decent right there to try to go. So I'm just gonna mark them out there because they do look decent for tomorrow. And again, they look good for today, and they did mostly run. I mean, this one opened at 13, got up to 15, and then came back. And the other ones basically just came down pretty fast. So SERV, let's see what that's up to. SERV, isn't that a Serve Robotics? Yup. That's exactly, I was thinking it was a machine company. I don't know why, but we did this before, and I just kind of remember it being like a machinery company. But it's pulling back to another great one that's going to be setting up. They had their earnings recently on the 7th last week, and it is just pulling back. So just let it pull back there. Had over 4 million in volume right there. SERV. Yeah, just let it pull back. We'll look at it next week. It'll get set back up and then we'll run it up. And that's all you do. You take the ones that are setting up, you take them and run them up. And then, the ones that are run up there at the top, they get pulled back down. Then you keep an eye on them when they bottom out, get set back up. You run them back up. And then it's just a big rotation of them. So they just run up and down. You just got to catch them when they're coming up and down and not chase them either. You don't want to be chasing anything, especially in these markets. That's why I say if one happens to be running and you feel like you missed it, you didn't miss anything. You catch the next one at a good price because if you get caught chasing it, then you're stuck in it with your cash tied up. So it's worth being smart with it rather than get caught chasing it and get stuck trying to catch a home run when it's already running because they're hard to tell where they're gonna run to. So you can tell at the bottom before they get moving, and that's where you want to be. And then even if they run up a little bit and happen to pull back, you're definitely safe. I think everybody was in ELAB under 2 cents, so it's still at 2 cents. I think everybody's pretty safe there. So and there you go. And that's kind of what you want to do. That's exactly what you want to do. Nova, Nova. Let's look at this. It's an energy company and it was curling up and looking really good. So I would keep an eye on this bad boy, Nova, because it is looking really good for tomorrow, I would say. So I would take an eye or take a look at that and keep an eye on it tomorrow because NOVA looks like it wants to move. So there you go with that bad boy. And GRI, Bio, that was up 8 cents. Somebody asked me to look at it this morning. I didn't even notice it was like right at the end. I guess I just missed the ones right after I post the for some reason they don't come up like when I look in the messages. It's happened multiple times and it's always the same ones. It's kind of odd because I always scroll down and look and then I go out of it and it seems like there's like always like two extra messages that I miss. So there was definitely this one someone said, I forget who it was, but yeah, it looked great. Still looks good. So keep your eye on it. GRI, because I would say it looks solid still. Mine looks like it's a little pulling back here, 83 to $1 and came back in the after hours. On FinViz, it says it went to 96 and pulled back 22 cents, but it doesn't even show the pullback. So let me look at it in the morning. Now that I look at it now, you know I like to look at my chart and two charts because you just never know. And yeah, I would have to take a look at that in the morning and see if it wants to bounce back up. But someone was looking at it this morning and it did run up there. How about AZI? A few people are asking about that. I don't even know what it is. It's a China auto and truck dealership company, and it ran up to the top the other day. It's a fairly new one. It just opened up on what day is that? August 28th. So, and it opened at 390, got up to 405, and that's probably been its high right there as the day it opened. And right now it's sitting at $1.86. It ran up to the top the other day and it got up to 320. And it does look like it wants to try to curl back up. Let me take a look on mine, AZI, and see what this bad boy is trying to do. I mean, it looks like it's just kind of pulling back at the moment. I don't see anything too crazy with it. Like I said, it has that little look like it might want to, but I'd have to look at it in the morning to definitely know if it's trying to. And so I can look at that one because a few people asked about AZI and I didn't know what was up with it. I just took a quick glance at it and it didn't really look like anything jumped out at me. I wasn't like, wow, that thing looks amazing. So I was just like, huh, I can't wait to look at it a little better. And yeah, it's making a little base right here. But if it starts to curl up, it'll start to run back up towards that resistance up there at like 314, which is a good run from that 180 area. And I guess that's why, because it was just up there 2 days ago. It was at 310. on the 11th and the 12th. So maybe everyone wants it to hop back up there. And like I said, if it shows that it wants to curl up, it made that little flat move. It very well could. It's just not showing me exactly it wants to yet. So I'll look at it in the morning. We'll take a peek at it. AZI, I wrote it down over there. So we can take a look at that bad boy. GXAI, let's look at that one. Because this was moving today and it looked really good, honestly. It did just kind of pop off right there, but it looked nice. And that one went from like 151 to 249, and it's back to 159 right now. But another one that looks pretty solid, I'm not gonna lie. It did run up really nice, but it didn't even get to the top. I could see it trying to run back up tomorrow if the conditions are good. So keep an eye on it for another one that could bounce back up, more or less a momentum play, if anything, because it ran up today. And how about BSEM? Let's see what that is. Biostem Technologies. Let me see what that's up to. What I say? SEM. Oh, it didn't come up on there. Yeah, BSEM. Let me see. Let me see if it comes up on here. Came up on mine. BSEM. Let me look real quick. Here it is. Biostem. I don't know why it didn't. Yeah, I definitely typed it in right. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Is it an OTC? Let me see. Pink sheet. That's why it is. That's why it's not coming up on the FinViz. And it took a major dip today. It was in the top and just dipped hard, it looks like. What it was it? Yesterday it was up at 25 to 28. And then today it came from 25 to 22 down to 17 right now. Oh, wait, hold on. I have my yesterday 25 to 28 down to 23, and today's 17 and sitting at 17. Almost looks like something happened where it stopped. So I don't know if it that's probably what happened. It got pink sheeted or something possibly because it's not coming up on FinViz. But yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I'd have to look at that tomorrow and just see what's going on with it first because I have no idea what's happening with it. BJDX, let's take a look at that one real quick. That one's just crawling down. Did run up the other day. We were looking at it, said it wanted to run up. It did 10 to 14. And then yesterday it even did what? 9.5 to over 11.5. And now it's way down at 8 again, 7.5 actually. So it just came pulling back and it didn't look bad still yesterday. And today definitely didn't help it. So that didn't help the Blue Jay. We'll see if the Blue Jay can get popping off and flying again because it definitely took a little dip. So we'll watch that and see if it can get moving. I'm just pulling up my chart, but yeah, it definitely pulled back there. WTO, let's see, that was down as many of them were. That looks like it could be a bottom right there. Keep an eye on this one. I'm telling you, this one wants to get moving, and it could happen really soon now. It looks pretty good. I would keep an eye on that WTO. It looks pretty good to me. I think it could be bouncing soon. So keep an eye on that one. It doesn't look bad right there for tomorrow. EJH, this one is pulling back and looks like it's going to have to hit that bottom right there. It was setting up the other day, I'll tell you that. November 11th on Monday, it looked great. And then Tuesday didn't look bad, but yesterday and today just didn't help it. So that one is pulling back. But like I said, WTO doesn't look bad. And I have AZI on the list again, so we can skip by that because we just did it. I told you a few people were asking about it. That's why I glanced at it and I said, I don't know. I don't see anything jumping out at me. Maybe I'm missing something, but and again, we'll look if it does make that crawl up, it'll get moving. But right now it's just flat and trying to, so I'm not gonna say it's definitely gonna do it because it's not giving me that look where it's like, oh, that's definitely gonna do it. You know, when I say that, they start doing it, and I don't have that look, so that's why I'm telling you it's definitely. I'm not saying it's definitely gonna do it. It could though. It has the look where it wants to, but it's not 100% telling me yet. So ATRA, that's Atara Biotherapeutics, and this has been running up a little bit and got up there today, and it got up to the top, and it looks like it's coming back down now. So ATRA, yeah, it looks like it might be coming back down. Opened at 14.49, got up to 14.83, and now it's in the 12s. But yeah, it did run up the last 2 days, and see if it can keep itself around that 1204 in the low 12s. We'll check it out and see if it can stick itself there. And if it does, then it could probably bounce back up. But it is pulling back right there. HRTX, couldn't even read that. HRTX, let's see what this is doing right here. They just had their earnings the other day on the 12th. So that was Tuesday, and it kind of bounced up. Now, this is trying to curl up. It's making a nice base, and it did dip down on the earnings right there, HRTX. And again, it's looking pretty good. I would watch this to start curling up. Maybe it doesn't get moving tomorrow, but that might be a next week or two. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one for next week. QNRX. I forget the name of this one. Pharmaceuticals. I know I've traded it before, and it's just pulling back here. It did have their earnings on last week, and it is. It's just dipping down, and it's been continuously dipping down there, QNRX. So we'll just see if it can catch itself down here. Maybe at 57 cents. It's not showing me anything just yet, so I'll have to keep an eye on that one. And JAGX, let's see that bad boy over here. What's this one up to? They just had their earnings. The Jaguar, they had them yesterday, and it's trying to curl up, actually. The Jaguar looks like it wants to get running. So keep an eye on JAGX tomorrow, because that one looks pretty good to get moving. So there you go with that one. And what is that? MGRM, is that what I wrote? Yup. MGRM Monogram Technologies dipping down there. Oh, that one could be a little bounce play too. I don't think it wants to get into the basement. Keep an eye on this tomorrow for a bounce. Yeah, MGRM. It does. That looks like it could be a nice little bounce play right there. So keep an eye on that one. And I think we already did the APLM. Isn't that Apollo thing? Yeah, we did that one. I know I wrote a couple of them down twice. That made the list really big, huh? VERU. Let's see it. Up a penny today. That looks like that could be its bottom. That one looks like it's going to bounce up tomorrow. VERU. So keep an eye on that bad boy right there. I think you have one right here that's going to be rolling tomorrow. So I think you want to keep your eye on VERU right there for tomorrow. I know NDRA wasn't looking bad. Let's see what it finished up like, because I thought it was looking good this morning. Oh no, it was down 44 cents. Wasn't it up this morning? Let me look. I could have sworn it was up. I mean, it could have been 575 to 592, back to 528, and it's at 541. So yeah, it did run up. I thought it was close to six, and I think I seen it in the 580s, and it was this morning. I knew that, but yeah, it's looks like it might try to roll right off of there actually. So this one could be decent. I'll have to look at it tomorrow. It's right there at the bottom. Looks like it built that base, and it did split not long ago on the 7th last week, ran up a little bit, but it doesn't look bad down here. So NDRA could be a setup. I'll have to look at that one. Let me keep my eye on that. NDRA, MLGO, that's another one we had looked at before, another China company. And this one looks like that bottom was yesterday. Let's see. Where's that? 18 cents. Yeah, just under 18. It's right around 18, 19 cents right now. And it looks like this could try to get curling up next week. Maybe it doesn't do it tomorrow, but it has that look like yesterday was its bottom and it could be getting set up. So we'll keep an eye on MLGO. And I think we had some nice dip action, and they're going to get set back up and get rolling. And again, the market exploded on the election, and it was kind of a big overreaction. And like I was explaining, I really think it ran a day earlier. I think they were set up to run last Thursday and Friday. They ran Wednesday and Thursday, and it kind of threw them off a little bit. It wasn't a bad thing, but it just kind of threw them off a little bit. So I think you're just kind of seeing the dust settle right here as they're going to get set up again and rocking and rolling. So that's what it looks like to me. And it doesn't look like anything crazy. So MLGO, I think this one, like I said, I think yesterday was its bottom, and it's going to try to get moving again. So we'll keep an eye on that one. What else is next here? LLAP, that's a is that gone? LLAP? Did it go to Pink Sheet or something? Yeah, that Terran Orbital. That's right, it did because wasn't like Lockheed Martin was trying to buy it or something. I remember we were looking at it. It says it's just the warrants here, so I'm not sure what it's up to because I don't really look at that. And but I remember we looked at this one before and it was called what? Terrian Orbital Corporation, yeah, and it's way down there. And again, we were looking at it before, but I'm not sure exactly what that's up to. I can't even tell. RVPH, let's see what that's up to. That one's not looking too bad. It's just pulling back a hair, but it ran up the other day. I'd have to look at this probably again just to take a better look. It's trying to move up, but had that pullback today. I'd have to take a look at that one again. LUCY, Lucy, we've looked at this before. She just had her earnings yesterday and it pulled back there, and it looks like it's going to be dipping down a little bit. So Lucy looks like she's going to be going down. And yeah, Lucy looks like she's going down right there. So we'll have to watch her when she gets to the bottom. And you guys can ride Lucy back up. How's that? KXIN. Let's see what that's up to. That one's down here too. This one just was trying to cross through. Another one just tried to run up yesterday and it did a little bit. 505 to 730 and down to 391. I mean, that's a heck of a spread. And then today, what it do today? 408 to 420 down to 244. So it's all over the place. And it could be it's trying to cross through right there. And so I would keep an eye on this bad boy. KXIN. I know we looked at this before as well. And yeah, it's just right there trying to get set up. So I'll keep an eye on that. KXIN. IBG. Let's see what that's up to. IBG. Let's see. Oh, IBG. There we go. Innovation Beverage Group. And this looks like it's pretty new. September 27th, but I'll tell you what, it looks like it's about to roll. It was running today, had 4 million in volume, 78 to 126. It's at 133 right now. I would keep an eye on IBG. 76 to 158. It's at 154, and it could still be a momentum play in the morning, guys. So keep an eye on that one, IBG, and it has room. It opened on the 27th at 295. That was a tie, and again, it's what did I say it was at 154. So it looks like it wants to run up there. That could be a nice little momentum play for you in the morning. How about ALCE? Alternate clean energy. I we did look at this before. It's in the basement and it looks like it's about to roll off. It ran up today from 167 to 220 and it does look like it's going to get moving. So I would expect this to roll off and start moving. So yeah, I would keep an eye on that as well. ALCEs doesn't look bad. I know we looked at SOUN recently and it pulled back and then I think it just ran up yesterday if I remember. It was running up the other day and then it pulled back yesterday. It ran up until yesterday and it pulled back. I had it mixed up. So it had run up and then yesterday it pulled back and then today it ran up a little bit more. It opened at 656, went up to 716, and it looks like another one that's trying to crawl back up there. So I think it pulled back on the earnings on the 12th, didn't it? Yeah, right after the earnings or in the after hours, and it pulled back, and it still didn't look bad right there, but it did, and now it looks like it wants to go back up. So watch that one to try to roll back up. SOUN looks like it wants to try to roll back up there. VCNX. Let's see that. VCNX. This one looks really good, actually. Wow. Let me see if that already ran in the after hours because that looks like it wants to. VCNX. 347 to 390 at 369. And I would say definitely keep an eye on VCNX in the morning because that looks like it wants to move. What is it called? Vaccinex or something. I don't even know what the heck they're doing. But it looks pretty good right there. I must say Vaccinex looks decent. So look at that one. RCAT Red Cat Holdings. And this is a computer hardware, and this looks like it wants to run up in the top. So this one's going up a little bit more. RCAT. It ran from 382 to 546 today. Where did it stop at here? Yeah, it ran up in the after hours. It looked good, and it did run in the after hours. I'd have to look at that in the tomorrow because it did run up in the after hours. It could be a momentum play right there. You could continue that momentum up, but it's definitely run up. It looked like it wanted to go, so it did. There you go. The ones that look like they want to go, they're going, and that's a good thing. That's what we want to see. TVGN. Let's see this one. This one's getting set up right there. I think this will be a setup possibly for next week. It's just pulling back. Did go up 7 cents in the after hours. Let's see how it got set up there. Now I think it still pulls back a little bit. Not completely ready yet, but I think that'll be a good setup for next week or maybe in 2 weeks from now. TVGN. Mullen. Here you go. It was up another 18 cents and it's running up and looks like it might continue to get up to that 50 at 489. I'd be surprised and I'd be careful because the company definitely likes to dilute everything, but it looks really good tomorrow to try to run up there. So I would say keep an eye on Mullen. It does look really good. I'm not gonna lie. It looks like it wants to go up. So I would say watch that one to keep the momentum up there. CISS, let's look at that. C3IS Inc., a marine shipping company, pulling back hard, and that could possibly be a little dip and rip situation. Let me look on mine at CISS. Let's see. I mean, it does look like a little dip and rip situation right there. I would say look for a little dip and rip on that. CISS. Dip and rip right there because that has the potential to do it anyway. RZLV, and I guess it will depend on market conditions tomorrow, obviously. So we'll see what that's up to. RZLV. Let's see what you're doing. That one to the basement. That's probably going to stay down there. I don't think it's going to bounce out tomorrow unless it did in the after hours, which I doubt. Nah, I don't know if it's going to bounce out yet tomorrow. So that might be a next weeker. Keep an eye on that one. Let's see. ALLR. Let's look at that one down 4 cents. Oh, this has one of them gray earnings, though. So might have to look at this. ALLR. I know we were looking at it the other day and just a little pullback. Hold on, I gotta write this down. Gray E. All right, I might know what that is if I remember. But yeah, I'm gonna watch this bad boy because them things have been popping and this thing's right there. And I'll look and see if it wants to get popping right there. AL because it's right there. ALLR and it has one of them gray earnings. And the last few that we looked at right on there just like went nutty right after that. So Peloton looks like it's coming down, guys. So well, I would say Peloton is pulling back and it's probably going to cross through. I could imagine if it didn't already today. It did not, but I think it might have to crawl unless it bounces off of there tomorrow. I'll be surprised. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I would be surprised if Peloton PTON does bounce tomorrow. Probably pull back and get set up for the holidays. If it pulls back tomorrow, it can get set up for like Black Friday, and again that holiday season is going to be real tight. I mean, Thanksgiving's the 28th. It's the end of the month. And then you're gonna have Black Friday the 29th, and Christmas is less than a month away. So you have a really tight Christmas season right there. So There you go with that. So, like an Amazon and them ones are going to start either pulling back, setting up. And like I said, Amazon was running into the top today. We thought it would be. And we'll look at that in a little bit. But Peloton looks like it's going to be pulling back. LB, let's look at Land Bridge. That's pulling back too. So we'll have to let that pull back. Went up a little bit in the after hours, but I'm not so sure that's ready. LB. So we'll let that pull back right there. And let's look at LSB, that Lakeshore. And that was running up a little bit today. I saw it. Went from 315 to 344, and then it came all the way down to 255. So we were looking at it down here in like the $2 area. But yeah, that one ran up for us, and today could have been its top, but then tomorrow it could bounce right back up, LSB. So we'll keep an eye on it. And again, a lot of them have that look, and that one's still in a really good spot. So that one could go either way and probably go either way pretty well. So MOD, Modine Manufacturing of Auto Parts, that's pulling back, hitting the line. And that one looks like it might have to cross but down too. MOD. Yeah, I'd have to look at that tomorrow to see what it wants to do. I can't really tell right there. FOXO, Foxo. This one has been running up. This one's going to be coming down too. I can't imagine this one not coming down at this point. So that's going to be dipping. AUST, we were super early on Austin Gold, and that's almost down to the bottom, hitting the 50, and it may come right through that. So, we'll watch this thing and try to run it back up because we were super early for Austin Gold, and that ran up really nice for us. I know that. And that was AUST and ICCT we were looking at last night was looking decent. It was up a little bit today, and it still looks really good. Running 17 and 19, it's sitting at like 17 and a half right now. And ICCT, I know we had an asterisk next to it yesterday, and I'd put an asterisk next to it for tomorrow. And I know I looked at it, it had very low volume, but it was still moving and it did look good. Today it has 1.93. What was it yesterday? Oh, yesterday I had like a half a million. And today it was almost two, and it's looking much better. ICCT. So look at that one to try to move. And how about that MDJH? That one moved quick today, too. Another one that was set up, curling up, and it did. It just moved really fast. I mean, you have to be quick with these penny stocks. I'm telling you. This one went from 21 to 33, back to 17, and it's at 19. So it's lower than it opened at, and it moved up pretty fast and still trying to curl through. But again, a day before they curl through is when they pop. We know it. And then they come back down and run around all over the place. So you got that with MDJH. And here we go with what's the next one here? CGBS, that crown one. And that's pulling back. So that was in the top. That's coming down. No need to worry about that. AAGF, I don't even know what this one is. That's gonna have to be like a pink slip or something like that. I don't even see it. AAGFF. There it is. Aftermath Silver. That one's just pulling back. It looks like it's trying to crawl up. Let me see if I can get it on mine. Oh, hold on. Oh, that is on mine. AAGFF. Yeah, Aftermath Silver. It's hard. I can't even tell what it's doing, honestly. And it has yesterday's date, so I'm not sure if it's doing anything. We'll just skip that guy. OCTO. Now, this was setting up really nice. It pulled back 10 cents, a little more in the after hours. And again, was setting up, curling up. And I still think this one's got it in it to get moving again. I think it was just some pullback right there, OCTO. So I would keep an eye on this. And like I said, it was trying to curl up yesterday and get moving. And then today it even did 214 to 232 back to 180. It's at 185. And again, it's just it could get moving with the rest of them tomorrow if they really want to. So that is OCTO. I think RD was checking that guy out. LCID, good old Lucid Group. This one was moving really nice and pulled back right there. Kind of flat as it went through the line. Never got over that 20 either, but I mean, it ran up for us. And on the 11th, it was at 241. Right now, it's sitting at about 210. and it looks like it should bounce off the bottom. I can't imagine it wants to get back in the basement. Not saying it's impossible, but I think this one will want to bounce again too. So keep an eye on LCID to try to bounce. And let's look at ZONE and see what zone this is in. It's called Clean Core Solutions. It did run up yesterday. It looked a little funky today as it just got up into the top and went flat. So we're gonna have to look at that zone and see if it wants to get into the top zone or come out of the top zone because it's hard to tell right here. If I had to guess, I couldn't even tell. It could go either way, to be honest with you. So I'd have to look at that one just to see what kind of look it gives me tomorrow morning. XPON, this one was trying to set up as well. And well, it got up 9 cents and came down 55 in the after hours. I saw it moving today, and then I also saw it down because I have it on my watch list. And they had their earnings today. So you see why I don't play with earnings. I think we went over it last night, and I even said that it might want to move, but they have earnings, so be careful. And probably made a joke about it because I'm telling you, I just can't tell what the heck they want to do. But yeah, 335 to 375 down to 238 and it closed at 268. So it could want to roll off there now. It looks like it does. And it'll have an easier look tomorrow. But yeah, that's XPON. And again, they're just crazy right after the earnings. KOLD, good old cold. That was up today. And it looks like that's trying to curl up. At least it looks like it's trying to today. I'm not so sure. I'll look at Boyle because that actually looks like it's set up way better. So I think you just had like a little flip flop today and nothing real crazy with that with the cold and Boyle. I'm not so sure that they're ready to flip completely, but we'll have to look at them tomorrow because cold does look much better, but it's not a guarantee. It could get pushed down real quick with that look. So I'll look at them tomorrow and see what they want to do on a Friday. JOBY, Joby Aviation, up a penny. This one looks like it's trying to get crawled back up as well. JOBY. It is a tough one to tell. It does look like it wants to. It's right there. I'd have to look at it, but if it gets moving, it moved what in 595 to 627 today. So if it tries to bust through that 632 area, it'll get moving right there. So just look for that with JOBY and MSTY. Let's look at that. That is our micro strategy option income strategy. What is it? Option yield max MSTR option income strategy ETF. I don't even know what I was saying. But anyway, that is the micro strategy. That's why I said two strategies because micro strategy, MSTR. And yeah, it looks like it is trying to curl back up at the top, but we'll have to look at the MSTR to get a better look at this one and see exactly what direction it's going to do because that is the ETF for it. And let's take a look at a crypto real quick and see what that's up to, everybody. And I'll run through, see what you guys want to look at. We have our big caps and our laptop ones to look at. So we're just cruising right along. Let me go ahead and look at crypto and see what that's doing tonight. It was down earlier. I know that. Bitcoin's back to 88,200. It is back down a little bit. And let's see, it was looking much better earlier. And again, it looks like it's just building a base up here and it's staying in the 70s. It's actually pulling back right now. So we'll have to see if it's going to come back out of the 70 and where it's going to bounce back up there because like I said, they're so hard to tell once they get up there, and they can run up there for a month or two. It's crazy. They run up there like animals. So, um, crypto is a whole different game. So, Ethereum's dipping back down to 3,073, and it's coming back down to the 100. We'll see what it wants to do when it gets to that, if it wants to cross through it. Solana's back to 209 and we'll have to take a look at this. It's down $10 right there. And let's just see. It looks like it's building a base up there, to be honest. and it's pulling out of the 70. But I'm telling you, I think these bad boys are just trying to make some room. Cardano's still at 59, and that one's still trying to go up. So I think Cardano is running back up in the 70, which is good. And let's look at Doge. It's down to 37 at this point. It was just at 38, and it looks like it's kind of coming down. We'll have to see if it stays in the 70 and bounces back up. Let's take a look at Bonk real quick, see what that's up to. That's down a little bit as well. And this one it's in the 70 up there, and it could pull back a little bit. I could see it happening with Bonk, but nothing that crazy right there. And where's Sheeb at? SHIB. Here's Sheeb. That's down. It says 6%. And that one's just kind of pulling back, almost making a base, came out of 70. And again, they're just making a lot of room. And that WIF, this one was up earlier. Now it's down to 353. Look how fast these things move. It was in the fours, and now it's back to 353. And it's pulling back on the 70. And again, we'll see if it wants to stay up there or come out. So that is crypto right there. So we'll see how that looks in the morning, and we'll be able to tell which way they want to go. And let's go ahead and do our laptop ones real quick. We'll roll right through them, and I'll go through our messages, and then we'll hit our big caps and call it a Thursday night and see what's happening with our laptop ones, because these will all be kind of set up to ready to rock and roll. We've looked at that AEMD. And I'm telling you, this thing is right. Oh, it's set up so much better now. It's just pulling back a little bit. Next week, I think this bad boy is going to be looking good. So AEMD, I know we've looked at it. It is getting set up right there. I think it's hitting that line right there. Let me look at it tomorrow. It ran from 41 to 46 down to 37, and it's at 38 right now. So I'll have to look at it tomorrow, but it is setting up in the next week or so. So we'll take a look at it. And the Thursday night football game, the Eagles and Washington are on, and it's the third quarter, and it's 10-3 Washington right now with like 6 minutes left in the third quarter. So that's a little football update there. And here we go. That was AEMD. And let's look at ARTW, Artsway Manufacturing. And Archway is just pulling back a little bit. And a lot of these have that same look, like they're just pulling back today and can easily get turned around tomorrow. So I know today wasn't the healthiest day for them all. And these ones you can tell too. What's that? BKYI. BKYI. There we go. BioKey International. Oh, this one's sitting right there. I bet this one would have curled right up tomorrow, today, if it wasn't real crazy day, because this one was setting up perfect, and it still is. I'm telling you, watch this tomorrow. This BKYI, this thing's gonna bounce off tomorrow and get moving. So keep your eye on that one. BKYI, that looks really good tomorrow. BNOX, let's look at that one. And that one's curling up for tomorrow too. So BNOX. I think you got another one. I think you got two of them right there in a row. Uh, BKYI, BNOX, both of them looking very solid for tomorrow. So keep your eye on them bad boys. And let's look at CNTM. CNTM is at Connect Them Technology Solutions. We looked at this before. That bottom was down here at 73. It's at 92 right now, and it crossed through and looks good. Just make sure it's still moving tomorrow, to be honest with you, but it should be. That's more of a momentum play at this point, but it does look pretty good for a momentum play. So that is CNTM and CTHR. Charles and Colvard. We've looked at them before, and he's just setting up. We're definitely looking at them next week because that's setting up there. DUO, that was down 7 cents today, and just pulling back there. We'll let that hit the bottom. Maybe today was the bottom, and that's down 65 cents was its low. So I'll look at that and see. And that's DUO. EFSH. This was getting set up and it was up today. I know that. It is setting up really, really good too. You definitely want to keep an eye on it. It was up 2 cents and 5 in the after hours. EFSH. And I'm telling you guys, this thing is going to curl up and get moving 60 to 75, and it closed at 56. And you're going to want to look at that one. EFSH, because that's rolling up and moving right there. And that ESLA, let's look at that one. ESLA. Estrella something. And this one's about to get cruising, guys. So keep your eye on that ESLA. I know we were looking at it. It ran from 75 to 84, and it's at 84 now. And it's looking really, really good too. So we looked at it last night. EURL, right? EURL, I think. Yep. That's actually that Europe ETF. Oh yeah, that's a Europe ETF. I was thinking the Mex one, so no, it wasn't the one I was thinking. But this is a Europe one, and this is bull three times, and this is way at the bottom. This one's a really good one. Yesterday was its bottom right there. You can tell at 21.20 or 21.21, something like that. Yeah, 21.21. It's at 21 or 22 now, and it's going to get moving. I want to look at this. EURL. All right. Jot that down right there because that's going to be a good one. Three times too. These ETFs are great when they run up because they're like multiplied. So it's a beauty right there. So that's EURL, and we'll keep an eye on that one. GIFT, that gift, and it ran up when we said it would a few times. It was up 8 cents, and this one's going to probably be a gift tomorrow from what it looks like there. Let me take a good look at it. It does look like it's going to keep running up tomorrow. So keep looking at gift because that looks good for tomorrow. JXJT, let's see what that's up to here. JXJT. I don't even know what that's called, but it's some China company. Let's see. It has a weird look today. It did run up like 143 to 159. I could see this trying to run up tomorrow. It could do anything, really. I'd have to look at it, but I could see it trying to move just with that weird look on it. Um, it just has that strange look today. So what it do? 138 to 191, it says here. So it must have ran up in the after hours. So yeah, it definitely had to have. And it's back to 144. I'd have to look at that in the morning. It has a weird look. LEDS, this one ran the other day. I know that. And it's just pulling back, but it looks like it could be trying to curl back up. I'd have to look at LEDS in the morning because it's not showing me that it's stopping the curl up yet. It just kind of stopped today, and it just doesn't tell me what it wants to do yet. I'll be able to tell probably tomorrow. MEGL. Magic Empire Global, and that was up like 1%. And this is trying to curl back up right there. Doesn't look too bad. MEGL. I would keep an eye on it. Looks like it wants to roll off and get cruising there. So I would take a look at that one. MEGL. MTEM. I saw this one somewhere on the scanner or something. Molecular templates or something. It was up 28 cents. That's why I did say it. And let's see what it did. MEGL. It did 50. Hold on a second. What is this saying? That is today. Why does it say like it ran like crazy on here? This says 33 to 113. MT. That's because I'm looking at two different ones. Okay, that's probably why. MTEM. See, I could tell when I'm not looking at the same one. MTEM, yeah, that one there it goes. 33 to 113, and then it came back down to 57 cents. And yeah, it's not looking terrible, but it did run up quite a bit. So you have to kind of see how that plays in the morning. I'm not exactly sure how that one will play out, but it did run like crazy today. NTIP. This one we were looking at an asterisk and Network One Technologies, and it is moving up. It was going up a little bit today and looks pretty good for tomorrow. NTIP. So I would keep an eye on this 131 to 142, and it's sitting at that 142. So watch that one for a momentum play because it looks like it wants to continue its way up there. And PAVM. PAVM is PavMed. And this one's actually looking really good for tomorrow, guys. So keep an eye on that one to bounce back up there because that looks good. PAVM, I'd say that wants to roll. And SST, System One ran the other day, and it's just pulling back. I'll have to look at it to see if it once it gets set back up. TSBX, Turnstone Biologics. This just had their earnings, and this one's getting set up. If it doesn't run tomorrow, it's a great one for next week. So we'll keep an eye on TSBX and VKTX. Viking Therapeutics. This one dipped down some more today, and I'm just waiting for it to hit that blue line, I guess, because I can't believe it just keeps dipping down there. But we'll just keep watching it until it gets ready and we actually know it's ready to go back up. You don't want to really mess with these things while they're pulling back, so we'll let it just pull back there. VRAR. Let's look at Glimpse Group and take a glimpse at it. And it actually is sitting right there flat and looks like it's crazy. I would imagine it wants to do something right there. VRAR. Uh Today it did 71 to 77. It's at 73. I would take a look at this tomorrow. It looks pretty good to try to run back up there and to get moving, I mean. And that is VRAR. Yeah, it looks that I would take a glimpse at it tomorrow, glimpse group. And WNW. Oh, let me type it in right. WNW. There we go. This is another China company that is setting up, but I don't think it's just ready just yet. I mean, it has some good resistance right there at 82. It's at 79, and I just don't think it's ready. Although it wants to be ready, look at it. If it jumps up over that, it's right there. I mean, it could go either way, to be honest with you. Take a look at it. It is setting up right there. I just can't tell if it wants to bounce up tomorrow. It almost has that look like it wants to on mine. So I can't guarantee it, but it does have a pretty good look right there. And that is WNW. And there you go, Laptop Travels list. And he had a bunch of good ones for tomorrow, guys. BKYI, BNOX, CNTM looks like a nice momentum play there. EFSH, ESLA looks good. That GIF looked like it was good. MEGL looks like it's trying to crawl back up there. NTIP, that looks like it was running back up from today. And we called that yesterday. And that PAVM looks good. And then the other ones setting up there are TS, TSBX and VRAR and WNW. They're all setting up real good right there. And some other ones that are looking great. And obviously, we're going to be looking at ELAB, XTIA, SVMH, and NMHI, that Nature's Miracle tomorrow morning because again, they ran up a little bit today, and I think they might still have something left in them, but we'll have to look tomorrow and see how the market conditions are. And we'll look at that TRNR. It had the earnings today. It dipped down. And a couple other ones that looked real good were Peggy, PEGY, HAO looked good. It was moving in the after hours there. VCIG and GDHG and OCGN all looked really good there. Who else was looking good? That TOVX and GMM, they wanted to roll off, so keep an eye on them. VERU looked good, and that VCNX looked really good, and that ICCT looked really good. And we were looking at that yesterday, and it did go up. So keep an eye on them. And a couple other ones are setting up that I'll be looking at. So there you go with that list. And now we have to look at our SPY and our big caps. And then I think we're pretty good besides the messages. So let me know what you guys want to see. If I miss anything, let me know and we'll get to that too. So here we go. We'll roll through our SPY and our big caps. And then we'll keep on cruising there. Here we are with our SPY. Let me look and see what it did today. It was down 384. And I mean, I couldn't remember. I keep saying it. It looks like it wants to go in the top. It keeps looking like it wants to pull back. I think it needs to come back to that 590. And today it's at that 592. And I think if it gets right back there, it can just set up to be wild. So maybe even dip down harder and come back to the 20 and the 580s and really make some crazy room. If it does that, then the SPY's going to go wild. So just keep an eye on it and we'll see what it wants to do tomorrow. They're not pulling it back real hard. I mean, it's just it's very parachuting it down or stair stepping it easy. It's not pulling back hard. Today was one of the harder pullbacks. And again, the day was just a little odd, so I don't know if it's going to continue into tomorrow or if they try to roll it back up there. So it's a hard look to just know exactly what it's going to do tomorrow after today. But let's look at the other ones and see what they want to do anyway. GameStop was up 91 cents. It didn't even care. It's just rolling up in the top and going. So GME's going up. AMC was up a penny. And that thing, I'm telling you guys, is getting set up to do something wild right there. And Chewy, CHWI, this was down 33 cents and it was coming out of the basement. Let it pull back and it'll be pretty good. And let's look at our Mag 7 here and see what that's up to. NVIDIA, NVDA up 49 cents. And again, it's just trading between that channel, hitting that line. And they have earnings up next week. So their next Wednesday are their earnings for NVIDIA. And it's just trading between this channel to get set up. I don't trust it for its earnings, to be honest with you. So I'm going to wait for NVIDIA for after the earnings and rather see what it's going to do for that. So, that's NVDA. Apple, I mean, that one looked great. Remember, I was saying it yesterday. Apple, Apple, Apple. Well, it was up 310 today. It pulled back like 68 cents in the after hours, but this Apple's about to get wild. And I told you I had options on that. And I think it's going to get crossed through tomorrow and get wild. And I'm looking forward to that because that'll be nice. And the Apple options are what? AP. What the heck is it? I forget. I can't even think of it. Holy cow, it just left my brain. I was just thinking of it a minute ago and I totally forgot. Oh well. AP something else. I forget what they are. Oh well. Somebody knows what the Apple options are. I had the piece of I think it's right here actually. No, I got it right here. I knew it was right here. AAPU, that was it. Got it. AAPU. That was what it was. There we go. AAPU. And yeah, things setting up like a maniac to cross through and get wild, guys. So just keep an eye on that bad boy because that's your two-time bull shares. And it's looking good right there for your ETF for Apple. And let's go ahead and look at Google now and see. I had it written down. AAP. I thought I had it somewhere. I had it written on the sheet right next to Apple. I'm over here looking for it. That's pretty funny. Google pulling back. We thought it would. It was hitting that top area, and another one just gonna set up to get wild in like the next week or so. Maybe not at the beginning of next week, but they are getting set up, guys. They're gonna get crazy. Amazon, that was down a little bit, but it's up. It actually came out of the top. It was still up there when I saw it earlier. So it did pull back a little bit. And let's see, maybe it'll want to pull back some more and get set up again for Black Friday and all that good stuff's coming up. And it's going to get running up in the top. And it is super bullish. So it is going to get moving, Amazon, AMZN. And let's look at Meta. META because it was down, but I'm telling you, this thing wants to get set up too. Let it pull back, let them get set up, and let this bad boy will get it at like 567. If it can come down there, it'll be perfect because I'm telling you, things are gonna go right back over 600. I don't know what Zuckerberg's got going on here, but something's going on. I mean, all of them look great. I'm telling you. So MSFT, Microsoft, that one's up $1.68 and trying to move. Maybe it can bump itself up. It came back down $1 in the after hours. So we'll have to see what it wants to do in the morning. But it does look good to try to run back up there, Microsoft. And it has that resistance up there at like 433. So we'll see if Microsoft can get over there. And that's MSFT. And of course, Tesla, that was down like $19. And it looks like it's pulling back some more. So we'll have to watch Tesla just pull back a hair and get reset up to get moving. And let's cruise through the rest of these bad boys. Nike was down 84 cents, back up 80 in the after hours. And I'm telling you, it's going to get rocking and rolling really soon. So it's probably a good price on them pullbacks. So keep an eye on them. Rivian was down, but it ran up yesterday just like we thought, and it pulled back. And again, probably a great dip action, dip and rip price action right there. So keep your eye on these dips. They're always great prices to get them. PLTR, I think it finally has to come down because it's just crazy. It ran back up to 61 in the after hour, so we're gonna have to see what it wants to do, but it's been at the top like crazy, and I think it is gonna have to come back down. I mean, we know it has to come back down. I just think it's time's up now. So I think that's going to be coming down. So don't be chasing that around. Same thing with Sophie. I think SOFI might have to be pulling back a little bit, and these ones just ran up like crazy, so they need to pull back. Dell was down 10 cents, and again, another one just setting up to get crazy. They have their earnings coming up on the 26th, which are the a couple days before Thanksgiving. That's right. So we'll keep an eye on Dell, and it has good resistance at that 129. That's where you'd want to get it. It's at the 134 right now. And let's look at snow. That was pulling back today. And again, them options were great. You seen I posted it, I think, my option for that one. And that expired tomorrow, and I'm already out of it. And it was a beauty. I mean, holy cow, I played that one perfectly. I played it right off of here at 122. And I think I had like a 123 or 124 strike price. And then it shot right through it and went up to like 134 yesterday. So I was well over it the entire time, and that's exactly how I've been playing them, just like that. You see them about to shoot up, and just pick the lowest strike price and make sure you're shooting through it, and just get your timing on there. So. That's what I did for that one, Snow. And that was a nice profit right there. SNOW. And like I said, Apple's looking really good for that. Now, AMD, let's look at it. It was down 46 cents. And I mean, it looks like it wants to try to pop off tomorrow or next week. So I have a feeling AMD is going to get set up for next week to get cruising again. And how about QCOM, Qualcomm? I think the same thing. I think this is going to get cruising again. I think yesterday was its bottom at 159 and it's at 163. So I think that gets cruising back up again. PayPal, that was moving and it's pulling back down, but it's way up there at the $85 range. And I know we saw it down here at 82 and it ran right up there. It might be pulling back, might be making a base. It's setting up to be bullish. You just can't tell what it exactly wants to do up there. So have to keep an eye on it. And now let's look at our SMCI. It's down $2.32. It's down to $17 in the after hours. It's way down there, has that crazy, crazy look today. And basically, if they do not provide the SEC, because they're not there on Saturdays, so I don't know who they're going to send it to on Saturday. So they have basically tomorrow to do it because the 16th is their deadline, and they have to have some kind of plan in order to keep themselves from getting delisted. So I mean, you're talking a major, major company right here on the verge of being delisted. I can't imagine them not coming through with a plan. So we'll see tomorrow what's going to happen. It's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. And again, it has that weird ass look down there today. And what did it get down to down here? It opened at 1898. It got up to 1924, and it's at 1778 now. It got down to 1736. So pretty damn low, I'll tell you that right now. And yeah, I mean, it has a lot of room. It could move up there, even with a little bit of news. It could just go shooting up. I'm not so sure it will. It has good resistance right there, $23. So we'll have to see what happens with it, obviously. But I can't imagine. I mean, anything can happen, but I can't imagine them not providing some kind of update tomorrow. So we'll see what they do, SMCI, and we'll see what happens there. So all eyes on them probably tomorrow, I'd assume. So we'll be watching that as well and see if they can come out with something right there. INTC Intel was up 11 cents, and this one looks really good. I think this one you might have a little bounce up tomorrow on Intel. So look at INTC. How about that Disney? Who said it when it was at what? It's 96 or whatever. I was saying, yeah, it was 96. I said it's going over 100. And today it went to like 114. It's at 109 right now. I mean, there you go. And their earnings are coming up, or their earnings were what, yesterday or today, right? The 14th was today. Yeah, today. Their earnings were today, so you got out of it right when it popped up there, didn't have to mess with their earnings, got into the top, and boom, that was a perfect option right there. So these things are paying like crazy. I'm telling you guys, the options are amazing, and you just gotta, yeah, I have to put the video together because I'm getting pretty confident with them now. I just wanted to make sure I definitely knew what the hell was going on, but I'm just wheeling and dealing them at this point. I love them, and yeah, it's pretty much. I've been busy every day just trading these things. It's a lot of fun between this and crypto. It's got my head exploding all day, every day. So I'm just like, whoa, this is wild. So there you go with Disney. That was a perfect option too. What else is next? Oxy, OXY is down, but these ones are setting up. It's just trading right between that channel. The 158, 5168 and 5230. And then it got down to the 50. It's basically right where the channel is 5007 and 5215. So it may trade between that little channel just for like next week, and then that thing's getting set up really nice as well. Oxy and Exxon Mobil is building a base right here and at 120 and wants to get moving, so it was down to like $1 today, and that bottom could have been like 118 yesterday, so just keep an eye on that for any dips. But it is setting up Exxon Mobil. How about Mara? This was down like $1. And again, these things were at the top, ran up like crazy. So just let them pull back. They could come back to like $19 area. It's at 2054 and it'll get set up. Riot, same thing, pulling back. It was way up there and just let it pull back and get set up. We'll find where its bottom is and nail it again. MSTR, good old micro strategy. He was pulling back. He's staying in the top though. So I could see tomorrow him popping back up into the top if it wanted to. MSTR. I'll be watching it just to see. So you can't really tell exactly what he wants to do. Micro strategy, but it looks like he could pop right back up. And Clean Spark CLSK, that did pull back $1 today. And again, another one just dipping down, ran up like crazy. All these are crypto related, and they just went nutty. So coin that was down a little bit and this one ran up over 300. Remember I had that CONL option that was crazy, so that one ran up like an animal Monday, I remember, and it was up there. It's just pulling back and let that pull back and set up, and we'll do the same thing. Like I said, we'll hit all these options and we'll get all the ETFs because they pay like double and triple. They're wild. DJT, exactly what I was telling you. Let it pull back into the 24s, maybe the 25s. It's at 26.65 now, and then we'll get that when it sets up the roll. So we're just seeing that little bit of pullback from this crazy reaction, and it's normal. And it's what I was talking about at the end of last week. So it's happening towards the end of the week now, and not the end of the world. Fun, that's going to get set up again. This could be bottoming out, so we'll keep an eye to see if PHUN is just getting to the bottom. It could pull back a little bit more. How about MTN? That's pulling back, but still looks good. And again, it ran up real nice, and we'll see if that bottoms in at like 175 area. It got down to 176 today, and it looks like it could be pulling back a little more, but it did run up perfect for us. And MCD, McDonald's, I'm telling you, this one's getting set up to get rolling, guys. So I would keep an eye on McDonald's tomorrow because that could be a really good option play right there. That could be your one right there. That and Apple are probably your two best ones right there. Boeing, what did I say? The company needed to pull back down $1.83. And I was saying I didn't know how it was going up before. It was just the chart didn't look right to me. And now it looks right. And there it is hitting the bottom. It will bounce back up, but this is what it should be doing. And I basically was calling that one out too before saying, not sure how this bad boy's going up. And then like 2 or 3 days later, the chart completely changed to exactly how it should have been and started pulling back. So There you go at reading charts. Space SPCEs pulled back, but in a great spot right there. It was trying to cross through, and this one's going to get set up and go out into space really soon. So Virgin Galactic's looking much better, I must say. What did it do? Nothing. I didn't see anything. I was just seeing if they had any news today. I didn't see anything. LDOS, we were looking at this last night and it pulled back major. It was way at the top, and I was saying it loves to stay at that top, and we're gonna have to keep an eye on this thing. And then today I looked at it, it came down like $26. It went from 194 down to 166. It's at 169 right now. So you better believe I'm going to be looking at that bad boy because it's just been on a mad tear going up. And then we look at it for like a day or so and it comes crashing down perfectly for us. So you know I'm watching that one. And BITO is a Bitcoin ETF. And I think, like I said, let it pull back and we'll get it. Well, it's coming down out of the top, doing exactly what we want it to do. And I'm definitely going to be jumping on this bad boy as well because it's going to be setting up and going wild. So we will catch BITO at the right time. And let me go through the messages and see what you guys want to see real quick. And the game is in the fourth quarter with 10 minutes left, and the Eagles are now up 12-10, and they just missed a field goal a few minutes ago. I saw that. And let me see some messages here. JOBY, we definitely did that one earlier. And that one was just kind of sitting there flat. It ran up, hit the resistance. It's a hard one to look at. I remember saying I'd probably have to look at that one in the morning, to be completely honest with you there, Patrick Ryan. So if you remind me tomorrow morning, I will definitely take a look at Joby because it's right there flat, hit the line, and you can't tell exactly what it wants to do. Licho something wants to see DO. Is that DODU? Oh yeah, okay. I didn't know if you were looking at DUO or if there was another one called DUOL, and there is one with DUOL. So let's look at that one. It is DUOL. It's at 322.57, 323 in the after hours. This one was in the top. I would say I wouldn't mess with it. Just it is like kind of bullish back, like up there, but it looks like it wants to pull back, and you can't tell if it wants to stay over the line. I would just wait for it to see if it comes back into the lower 300 area and see what it wants to do for DUOL. Licho something. So I think we have I think your McDonald's or your Apple would probably be a little safer going up than rather playing them all the way up there looking like it's going to come down. So there you go, just what I see looking at them. So ASO bought some January calls, and Nike ASO, like I said, Nike's looking good. I know that ASO Academy Sports and Outdoors has been pulling back. And let's see, I think you're going to get a bottom bounce today. Could have even been your bottom right there at that 48.80. It jumped back up to the 49. Let me look at ASO here. This one could be a decent one to look at, to be honest. It's been pulling back quite a bit. It had a nice run on November 6th up to that 55.73. It's in the 49s. I could see it trying to. We'll see if it can get rolling back up tomorrow and next week. And if it can, you should be pretty safe for January because it should start to run back up there. So we will keep an eye on that one, ASO, for you, Sean. And like I said, Nike, we just did, and it's not looking bad. It's up 80 cent. It basically washed itself out. It was down 84, went up 80 in the after hours, and it was trying to curl through, pull back there, going to hit that bottom, but it's going to set up and get moving there. So Nike is at 75 or 76, and it is going to get rolling back up there past the 85. So just let it get set back up and boom, it'll move. And that is your NKE. And last time we hit that in the summertime, what it go from I forget, what do we do? 71 to where it run up to like 85 with no problem. It was like textbook right there. So we'll do it again when this thing bottoms out, and we can hit that one. Let me just see. ENTO for Gustavo. How are you, Gustavo? Let's look at ENTO and see what Entero Therapeutics is doing, down 10 cents, pulling back, dipping nice. And that could be a bottom dip and rip situation, down to 42 and a half. And it's at 44 in the after hours. And like I said, it could be a dip and rip. I'd have to look at that bad boy tomorrow. It could bounce off of there tomorrow morning. So keep an eye on it, and I can look at that one. ENTO. Let me just jot a few of these down. ENTO right there. I'll know to look at it right there. So I can look at that one. Like I said, that could be a bottom, or it could pull back a little bit more. It could pull back tomorrow, maybe a day or so more, and then start to bounce back up. So that's what you're looking at with ENTO. And AGRI was at Agriforce Growing or something, whatever it's called. Agriforce Growing Systems. That's it. And that was looking good yesterday. It ran up yesterday from what, 5 to 6 cents. And then today it pulled back. It's in the fours. And it was just kind of trying to curl back up, pulling back. I think next week you're going to have this one move an AGRI. And again, it ran up like crazy from 5 to 9 yesterday. I thought it ran up more. And I think next week you're going to be set up to get moving again for this one. So that is AGRI, ding dong. And I hope that helps you. And anyone expecting continuation on Foxo, I'm not so sure, to be honest with you, because like I said, it ran up quite a bit on FOXO for a few days. It's back down to 59. It looks like it's going to be coming down. So I would say it's pulling back there. MLGO, yeah, it's that one's a crazy one. Like I said, yesterday could have been its bottom right there at that 18.1820. We'll keep an eye. We had watched this before and caught a few pop-ups on it. So we'll watch it again and see. And then, like I said, yesterday could have been its bounce. I'll get a better idea probably tomorrow. XPON we looked at, and that one I forget what I even said. It had that weird look today. I think we said that it was going to run up today. Hold on. And then it pulled back. It did. It ran from 335 to 375 and then it pulled back. I'd have to look at it tomorrow because it has that crazy weird look and they had their earnings today. That's why. That's right. So I'll look at it tomorrow. It does look like it's trying to roll off the MACD and roll back up. Just has a really weird look. It actually opened and closed the same price, which I hate. And it just gave a weird look on earnings anyway. So I'd have to look at XPON, but it does look like it's trying to roll up there. So that's XPON, Trisha. And let's see. RYDE, Ray Rodriguez. Let's look at that one. RYDE. Let's see. Ride Group here at 47 cents. They had a gray earnings back here. Let's see what it did after that. That one actually just pulled back. And let's see, it's just riding that bottom down there. It's not getting into the basement. I can tell you that right now because it would have done it already. And I would expect maybe next week for this to possibly get running up. You can see its low is like 44 cents and it's at like 45 in the after hours. So it's just riding flat down there. It will run up any one of these days. It's just going to pop up there. So keep an eye on it. RYDE, because it should go for a little ride right there. And XPON, big dip in the after hours. Let me see what it do. Oh yeah, we just looked at it and it did. It got down to 268. And that's what I'm saying. I'd have to look at this bad boy tomorrow. And that was on its earnings too. So the earnings are so hard to tell what the hell's gonna happen. So yeah, we'll have to look at that. AZI, two recent 13 Gs. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I looked at it, doesn't nothing crazy. It has that line trying to get there. It looks like it's going to try to curl back up, but like I was saying earlier, it's not giving me that 100% look like I go, that one's popping tomorrow. So I'll look at it in the morning at AZI and let you know what I think. And I'll write that one right next to the ENTO AZI right there. and we'll look at it. SVMH, like I said, I think all of them have potential. That SVMH, ELAB, XTIA, and NMHI, the Nature's Miracle. I think they could all possibly have potential tomorrow if the market conditions are good for it. The Eagles just scored a touchdown, so there you go, and it's 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and that should make it like 19-10 if they kick a field goal, so or an extra point field goal. SVMH though, yeah, that it's right there. I'm telling you, it does not look bad. It just today just wasn't its day for any of them, so I think they could definitely rebound tomorrow. Um, ETH, what is that? Ethereum you want to look at? Let's look at it. The picture didn't even come up there for whatever reason, but ETH, if that's what you're looking at, I know there's an ETH what is it? Common units of fractional undivided beneficial interest. It's an ETF. I know that, and it's called ETH. And I don't know if I guess it's Ethereum. I have no idea, but I'm not sure which one you mean. But Ethereum was just pulling back a little bit. I'll go through it again real quick because I kind of forget. I just remember it was coming back down to the 100. It's at 3,090. I think it was right around there a little bit ago. And yeah, it's pulling back to that 3,000 area. And it came out of the 70. I think it's just making some room. We'll have to see if it crosses back that 100 right there. But we'll take a look at it and see. And there you go with ETH, and that would be Ethereum. ENSC, like I said, we'll get that one to move for you there, Ray. Thank you, Barbara. She loves the show. Appreciate it. And CDIO, of course, we can check it out. You know that. Check them all. Cardio diagnostics. This one ran up the other day. It's coming back. It's going to hit that line, and it is sticking right here between your 20 and 50. Hopefully tomorrow it can just get stuck right there. Oh, let me write it in right on mine. CDIO. Yeah, maybe tomorrow it can get stuck right there and roll off that MACD and get cruising back up. That would be the best hope for it. And it doesn't look too bad on mine to do it. It's coming down much harder on the FinViz. In the after hours, it kind of cruised down much easier to kind of roll off. So you may have potential to get back up. It opened at 33, came down to 26. It's at 27. So it has that potential to try to roll off. And again, it's right between that 20 and 50, and it could easily do it tomorrow. I'll look at this one in the morning too, CDIO, because I'm curious if it does want to roll off of there. It'll actually be a good one to run back up. And there you go. SVMH got an extension there, ding dong. Well, that would be perfect there. SVMH has released an update. Recent financial report reveals a significant increase in assets reaching over 6.6 million as of October 2024 compared to 1.6 million in March of 2024. Despite the growth, the company reported a substantial net loss of 34.2 million over the 7 months ending October 24th. They were having party time, huh? This financial performance could influence investor confidence given the increased liabilities and stockholder equity in the same period. For further insights and the blah blah blah, check out this. So there you go. And that was a little thing that ding dongs. I'll repost that bad boy. You guys can check it. And I hope you guys could hear me because Stacy said she couldn't. So I hope you guys could. And AGRI, we definitely just did that one. And I think I got everything there. Let me see right there. I think so. And let me see if there's anything else. Thank you, Ray Rodriguez. Oh, KOLD, we did them bad boys, no problem. Let's show something. But yeah, we did KOLD and the boil. And KOLD, I forget what I even said about it. It was up today. It looks like it's trying to curl up, but I'm not 100% sure it's going to go up. It has that look like today it was trying to move there, and we've seen that before. And I'll give you an example with the yin and the yang. We've seen it on that one day where it looked like, oh no, it's going to reverse. And I was saying before, it looks like the yang wants to go up, the yin wants to come down. And then all of a sudden, the one day the yin shot up, and we were like, oh shit. And then the next day it popped back down. That's kind of what it looks like. Boyle setting up in a good spot right there. Yeah, it could pull back, but it looks like it could get shot off too. So they're just like both kind of playing yo-yo right there. I'm not gonna lie. So that's that cold and boil. And like I said, the yin and the yang. And I can tell you what day that was when it did that. I'm looking at the yin right now, and it was the seventh when it did it, when it shot up right there. And then all of a sudden it came right back down the next day. Like it was no big deal. And it's been down since. And it looks like it's going to continue going down. And the yang looks like it wants to shoot up. So that was the yin and the yang. And let's look at the scanner real quick because I didn't even look at it. Although there wasn't a whole lot happening that we've already haven't looked at. ELAB, XTIA, that MTEM. Um, Luis Rodriguez was on fire with that QUBT because that ran up like 65% plus today. That ran up in the top. We were looking at it last night, and I said, hey, look at it for a momentum play. And he has an eye for them bad boys too. So that one ran the SVMH is on here. Oh yeah, we didn't even go over MVST, but that ran up too this morning. Some more microvast. It was up higher yesterday, but today it went from like 93 to $1, and that's still in the top. I could see it trying to pop back up again tomorrow. And that UAVS, we went over this. I forgot to jot that down actually, but we went over this bad boy and this one ran up today and it ran up pretty nice. We were looking at it last night and it went from what 303 to 488. So, yeah, that one could be a potential runner tomorrow still. It looks good. 155 to 488 UAVS. So, yeah, look at that bad boy. UAVS. That's looking good for tomorrow as well. And like I said, we looked at that last night. What else is looking good here? NU, what's that up to? Just kind of dipping down, but let me see what it's doing here. NU Holdings pulling back, but wants to bounce. This one could be an interesting one. That's a bank in the Cayman Islands, and that was just dipping down, but looks like it wants to bounce back up. SMCI, like I said, that's on there. The TSLL is the bear for Tesla. Plug, we were looking at this last night, PLUG, and this one is down there just trying to get set up. This is going to be a good one for next week. Let's write that one down. I actually have it written down on the list yesterday. I remember seeing it when I was going through it. So yeah, PLUG, that could be a good one for next week. Rivian was down. SOUN, that bounced back up. We were looking at GXAI, Lucid. Hims was down, I think, today, or was it trying to curl back up? Oh, wait, no. Yeah, Hims was way down, and I clicked on SPX. That's the S&P Bear. SPXS. And that looks like it wants to run right now. So that would probably mean that the S&P would go down. So that's that'll tell you something right there. So yeah, we could see a little bit of pullback. And like I said, they're just all pulling back to set up. They went nuts. So we'll be keeping an eye on everything, and we still now everything. You know that we hit them. Apple's cruising. We went through the list. I told you what was setting up and looking good there. And there you go. TRNR. We went over that bad boy too. And like I said, I didn't realize that they even had earnings today. I saw it after the show last night when I think I saw it last night when I was scrolling through and I realized the earnings were on stock twits and I went, oh, that's not good. And it definitely pulled back. I'm not gonna lie, it's hitting that line. It could be a dip and rip situation. It did pull back a little more in the after hours, but it doesn't look, I mean, it doesn't look great, but it doesn't look terrible either. So I'll say it could be a dip and rip. That's what I'm looking for on that one. So that's TRNR, and I'll keep that updated tomorrow. And like I said, I just really didn't even know that they had earnings today. It didn't say it on the FinViz, so I think they might have been pushed back from a different time, and sometimes they don't show up on there. They would have showed the original ones, but not sometimes that one if they change. So there you go. I would say that's a pretty good one right there, a pretty good market review. And boom, I'd say that's pretty good. Oh, and let me talk about pre-market trading real quick because a few people are asking about it. So we'll wrap it up with that, and I'll just explain pre-market and extended hours trading real quick for anybody that's new or doesn't completely understand. And I'll have to ask Laptop Travel a question. I'll have him post it out, the answer to it, and I'll repost it. But For E-Trade, their extended hours are from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. They're considered the extended hours. And when you trade them, if you actually go in and trade on E-Trade for extended hours, where you would generally uh do your drop down for, your buy or your sell or whatever you're doing, there should be a little thing that says extended hours, and you'll have to click that to make it extended hours. And prior to even getting that on your drop down, you have to agree that you know that there's extra risks involved, just like options with pre-market. So, um, if you have that drop down and you do not see the option for extended hours, you just have to reach out to your platform. There's usually a little thing in there, just like I said, like the options, and you just fill out you click boxes and sign it and say that you understand that there's a potential higher risk because it's not the normal trading hours, and then they'll allow you to trade in the extended hours. And then when you make the drop down thing, it will say extended hours. You do have to click that if you are trading in extended hours. What I wanted to ask Laptop Travel, and we'll get his answer, is on Web Bull, because he's very familiar with it. When you're trading at 4 a.m. up until about 9:30, do you have to obviously do the extended hours to make the trades go through? So we'll let Laptop Travel let us know about that. I'm assuming yes. So I'm thinking that some people were on Web Bull trying to trade early and couldn't do it. And thinking that maybe they didn't have the extended hours set up or they weren't selling it. Like I said, the drop down has to be extended hours. It can't just be on buy or sell. It has to be extended hours buy, extended hours sell, or it'll just say extended hours. Each one's a little bit different, but it will say extended hours, and that's what you're going to be trading on from 7 a.m. till 8. And again, Laptop Travel will definitely let us know if Web Bull makes you do the exact same thing. I'm assuming yes, but I haven't traded on there and I'm not sure. And they trade at 4 a.m. So I'm assuming that that's, considered extended hours and they make you click on it. So I'll see if he didn't, I'm not sure if he might not even be on there. So, we'll find out that answer for you, but I'm pretty sure you probably have to put that extended hour drop down box in. And so, yeah, if you're trying to trade them hours in the morning, you have to have it set up just like that. And then you can go ahead and trade it just as you normally would. But if you do not see the extended hours drop down on your box where you would buy and sell, you probably don't have that option set up yet. And again, you just have to go into the platform. You can type in a search or contact the platform and just ask them about extended hours, and they'll send you the link that'll tell you like the agreement and all. And again, you're just agreeing that there's, more risks involved. And because again, it's not the regular hours and anything can happen in extended hours. They can shoot up, they can go down. It's crazy. Sometimes the price fluctuates like crazy and only like 10 shares get sold. It's bizarre, but with these penny stocks, you can see obviously you're moving them in the pre-market hours, especially up until real recently, even today they did, but 4 a.m. I mean, these things were kicking off and going wild for like a couple months there at 4 a.m. It was the only way to trade them. At least today, like I said, 7 a.m. You still got Elab still ran up over 100%. So hold on, RD, here we go. RD said, Web Bull, I don't remember if there was a disclosure or anything, but there is actually an extended hours, yes, no drop down for every trade. There you go. So that's exactly it. I will retweet that out. Thank you so much, RD. I appreciate it. Like I said, I think Laptop Travel is traveling right now. So he probably would have posted it, but I greatly appreciate that, RD. And here we go. I'll repost that real quick. So yeah, there you go. That answers that. I assume that you did, but again, I never traded Web Bull, and so I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't want to tell anybody anything false, not knowing the information. So I knew you laptop travel, our D knows he definitely trades it as well, and I reposted. So yeah, it's just gonna have a drop down. He's not sure if there was a disclosure for Web Bull to trade that early. But like I said, I know E-Trade had one. Some of the other ones do. They might even had one. If you don't have that drop down when you do it, you have to fill out a disclosure. And again, it's just clicking the boxes and agreeing that there's extra risks involved. And once you do that, they might even have to process it for a day, and then they set you up, and then your drop down box will have the extended hours. So that's how you do it in Web Bull. So if you're on there in the morning and you're trying to trade and you're not being able to, and it just says buy and sell, and you're not in the extended hours, that is why you're not able to actually make trades in the extended hour. So that's the only thing you have to fix, and then you'll be able to take care of that. So I just wanted to make that a little clear. I know there's a lot of new people hopping on, checking it out. I got a few messages from several different people asking about it, and so I figured, hey, let me go through that tonight because that's a great topic. When there's more than one person talking about asking the same question, I know at least 10 or 20 people are thinking the same thing. So I hope that helps out. And again, if you need me to clear that up at all or don't understand, just shoot me a DM and I'll definitely explain it to you and get you on the right path. And it looks like obviously Web Boy, you got to do the same thing and mark that extended hours. Same thing with E Trade. And again, that's from 7 a.m. I said 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and then after 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. So during the regular trading hours, you do not have to click that. I know I was just thinking, I'm like, wait, I just said 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. That is not true. And obviously Web Bull is going to be like 4 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. will be your extended hours. Then at 9:30 a.m., your regular market opens up. It closes at 4 p.m. and then at 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. is going to be your extended hours as well. So I hope that helps clear it up for anybody. And like I said, if it doesn't, just let us know and we'll make sure you're on the right page and you know what you're doing there. But again, if you're trying to trade in the morning in the extended hours and it doesn't look like it's not letting you do it, that's probably the issue. I'd probably guarantee that's probably your problem is it's not set up for you and you don't have the drop box down, or you do have it and you're not hitting the extended hours, which you have to do. So either one of them two things is the issue, and it's an easy fix, and then you'll be able to trade extended hours. So there you go, extended hour recap for you. And like I said, I hope that helps out. And boom. Yeah, and I was just looking to make sure anybody else posted anything. So there you go. I hope that helped out, and I hope everybody enjoyed the live show tonight. Thank you everybody for hanging out. I always appreciate it. Stock playmakers hanging out, laptop travel always here, always helping out. Eileen, Ray Rodriguez, O'Hare Bastard Child, RD, thanks for your help. The Rabid Vole. Always hanging. Luis Rodriguez, he's always hanging out, sending in great momentum plays. Sherry, Bong Prechan, DTM, Buddy, QM, Lynn, Michael, Scott, and so many other people are on tonight. Greatly appreciate everybody hanging out as always. And have a great night, everybody. We'll be on for pre-market at 7 a.m. tomorrow, and we'll wrap up the week. And I'm just hoping that we get that little bounce back right there. And like I said, our ELAB, XTIA, SVMH, and even NMHI, the Nature's Miracle, they can get cruising again because they don't look bad. It's going to be more market conditions are going to basically dictate what they do tomorrow. So we'll definitely be on early to check it out, see what's happening. And there you go, everybody. Have a great night, and I'll catch you guys in the morning. Have a good night.